I didn't buy the land to flex power. I bought it for silence, for the kind of peace that hums in the spaces between whispering pines. That overgrown patch of countryside, with its sagging fences and tangled weeds, had been my grandfather's pride, left fallow for 2 decades until I felt its call. When the board at the energy firm I'd run for 28 years handed me a semi-retirement package, complete with utility easements tied to my name, I knew exactly where I'd plant my roots. My name's Nathan Caldwell, a grid architect who spent nearly 3 decades wiring 4 states, managing substations, and navigating federal red tape. After years of glass tower meetings, I craved dirt under my nails and the quiet of a place unspoiled by ambition. My plan wasn't grand resorts or factories, just a modest solar-powered homestead with restored prairie, hydroponic gardens, a handful of goats, and maybe a small learning center for kids to see where food comes from. I hired a local architect, a master of low-impact builds, to ensure every beam blended with the land and met every code. But Lisa Monroe, the HOA queen, didn't care about my vision. She saw my dream as her battlefield. Trouble sparked before I drove a single stake. One morning, I was pacing the property line with a surveyor, the dawn painting the grass gold, when a sleek black BMW screeched to a halt on the gravel road. Lisa stormed out, all purpose and polish, like she'd rehearsed this showdown. "You can't build here," she shouted across the ditch. "This land's under our visual corridor agreement." I blinked, steadying my clipboard. "Ma'am, this is private property, zoned rural, outside your subdivision. There's no agreement in my deed." She clutched a glossy binder like a weapon, her voice sharp. "I'm Lisa Monroe, Vice President of Oak Ridge Estates HOA. We've preserved this area's character for years. Your farm will tank our property values." I could have walked away, but I'm not built to bend. "Ms. Monroe," I said, calm but firm, "I'd be happy to show your board my plans. Everything's legal, green, and county approved." Her smile was a blade. "We'll see." She spun back to her car, leaving a cloud of dust and a promise of war. I didn't sweat it at first. I'd faced tougher foes in boardrooms. Lisa seemed like a busybody who'd fizzle out once she checked her bylaws and saw she had no claim. But I misjudged how deeply HOA politics gripped this place. Within days, a violation notice arrived on Oak Ridge letterhead, claiming my land breached their visual buffer and threatening daily fines and legal action. It was laughable me property sat a half-mile beyond their jurisdiction, but I knew the game. Most folks would cave, too worn out to fight. Not me. I called my lawyer, Emily Voss, a zoning shark, who confirmed my gut. "They're bluffing, Nathan." Pure intimidation. Still, I played nice, sending Lisa's board a letter with my deed, zoning maps, and an offer to meet. No reply. Instead, a drone started buzzing my land, hovering low when workers arrived or trucks rolled in. One day, it dipped so close my surveyor chucked a rock at it. The thing darted off, but the message was clear: Lisa was watching. I filed a sheriff's complaint, but the airspace was a gray area without proof of harassment. Lisa denied it all, her newsletter preaching community vigilance in a tone that screamed plausible deniability. When orange cones blocked my driveway with a fake stop work order taped to my mailbox, I realized this wasn't about aesthetics. It was a power grab, and Lisa had no clue who she was challenging. I sipped coffee, staring at the cones, as my foreman, Miguel, pulled up. "This ain't county," he said, eyeing the paper. "Some planning committee nonsense." I nodded. "They're playing pretend, but it's working," neighbors whispered. A sweet retiree, Margaret, asked if I'd cleared things with the right people, her doubts seeded by Lisa's smear campaign. Then came the polished legal threats certified letters from Oak Ridge's legal department, accusing me of disrupting community character, unpermitted grading, and me favorite polluting stormwater with my agricultural intentions. I laughed. My drip irrigation was cleaner than their chlorinated pools. But the letters weren't for court, they were to scare me. I responded with permits, soil reports, and another meeting invite. Silence, except from Lisa, who I caught snapping photos of my land's utility box, a grid junction I controlled through my old company's easements. Most folks think power's just a bill, but out here, where suburbs outran city lines, my firm had bought access rights. When I retired, I kept those contracts, including the subgrid feeding Oak Ridge. I hadn't planned to use them, but Lisa was testing me. Her attacks grew bolder. Construction markers vanished into a ditch. Our porta potty was tipped, reeking across the gravel. Miguel blamed teens. I knew better. I installed wildlife cams, and within days, caught two figures in vests scattering chicken feed to lure coyotes, triggering an animal control call. I sent the footage to Emily, building a harassment case. But I was tired of proving I belonged on my own land. Then Lisa overplayed her hand. A county power office notice landed in my inbox, triggered by an HOA emergency review of their grid provider. The audit flagged my name, my contracts, my control. The county rep called. Mr. Caldwell, you know you own the transformer nodes for Oak Ridge's common areas? Their access license expired, and they're on a courtesy extension. I smiled. Lisa had opened a door she couldn't close. The next day, my phone lit up urgent emails, voicemails, all laced with panic. Lisa hadn't seen the audit, but someone had tipped her board. Her latest letter claimed my work risked electrical infrastructure, demanding a halt until a neutral assessor checked my compliance. Another, from her personal email, was a wall of legal jargon and threats, copied to a lawyer, James Holt, known for twisting easement laws. Emily laughed. This is theater, not law. But it was a setup, a paper trail to paint me as reckless. We fired back with a letter citing my rights, their overreach, and a demand to cease harassment. Certified mail, email, hand-delivered every move documented. Neighbors called, confused or angry. One, Tom, asked if I'd cut their pool power. Lisa's saying you're threatening the community, he said. I sighed. Their contract expired. They ignored renewals. I've let it slide until now. Lisa's smear peaked with a community email. Energy infrastructure at risk. She framed me as a rogue digging up service lines, endangering residents. Flyers appeared, one scrawled with "We know what you're doing." A false county complaint claimed I was excavating commercially. An inspector found nothing, but the delays stung. Then Miguel called, voice tight. Someone broke into the generator shed. Fuses gone, padlock swapped. Sabotage. I filed a police report and made my move. Oak Ridge's access license was dead, ignored for a year. In 10 days, I could let it lapse. No malice, just silence. The lights would go out. Lisa's panic was palpable. Inspectors swarmed first as shady code reviewer, then legit city crews chasing fake water and wildlife complaints. A compliance officer probed electrical modifications. All found nothing, but the pressure was relentless. Subcontractors wavered. One quit. I countered with a legal package, my utility license, the HOA's expired contract, and a statement of my rights to suspend service. I mailed it to Lisa, her lawyer, and the county. The drone stopped. Lisa's car cruised by, but she stayed silent. Neighbors avoided me, like I was a lit fuse. Then the county liaison, Sarah, called. The HOA's begging for emergency renewal. I told them to talk to you. I smiled. Lisa had bullied with paper and fear, but power was my domain. I issued a termination notice for Oak Ridge's Common Zones clubhouse, pool, gates. No homes, just Lisa's toys. Saturday, during their big mixer, the power cut at 6:01 p.m., right on cue. From my deck, I watched darkness swallow the subdivision. The quiet was eerie, the silence of a community stunned. Lisa's speech died mid-sentence, her flashlight lit meeting a farce. She called it sabotage. Her board knew better. They'd seen the ignored notices, my legal warnings. I sorted my files, easements, contracts, logs, proof I owned the grid Oak Ridge leaned on. My company had bought it when the old provider folded, and I'd inherited the keys. Lisa thought power was universal. She was wrong. Her injunction came next, claiming my blackout was retaliatory and a safety risk, backed by 78 signatures. Emily shrugged. Let them sue. We've got everything. I wasn't vindictive, but I was done playing nice. I sent every neighbor a newsletter, not a rant, but a timeline. Lisa's harassment, the expired contract, my rights. Emails poured in, defensive, confused, apologetic. Tom wrote, didn't know they let it lapse. Thanks for the truth. The board cracked. Lisa called a flashlight-lit meeting, but only 3 showed. A resident shouted, why didn't you renew the contract? Lisa stammered, cornered. Her myth of control shattered. One night, Tom knocked. We voted to suspend Lisa, he said. She's out. We want a new contract, with your ranch protected. I nodded. My lawyer will draft it. He hesitated. Some folks are mad, but most want peace. So do I said. The deal was simple: retroactive payment, wiring fixes, a public admission of their overreach. They signed. The lights returned. Neighbors waved again. Kids asked to see the goats. Margaret offered to volunteer for my garden program. Lisa sold her house and vanished. I didn't cheer, I built. My solar array powered Oak Ridge, a poetic twist. A thank you card arrived. You reminded us we're bigger than this fight. Did I go too far? Cutting power was legal, but harsh. If tempers had flared or systems failed, it could have spiraled. Yet Lisa's reign needed ending. Her lies, sabotage, and drones demanded a reckoning. I won not by shouting, but by standing firm, turning her weapons paper, fear, control against her. The ranch blooms now, a legacy of patience and power. Share your HOA battles below. Did I cross a line, or was this justice? Hit like or subscribe if this stirred you.